What's going on, everyone? Alan here, aka the Bird Bay, and in this quick video I wanted to talk about how to really desensitize your parrot to its environment, to foreign objects, and really how to work with a scared or timid parrot so that random things that you might have around you or new objects or items that you bring around them doesn't scare them, cause them to fly away or injure themselves or anything like that. Now, this is something that I've been dealing with from day one with Elfie, my Senegal Parrot, as I'm sure you guys are all aware about. So, quick background on Elfie. He basically has always been a shy bird. When I got him, he was rehomed as an adult bird, and he was just not really ever out of his cage from my understanding. So he was basically in his cage for like 3 years. What ends up happening if you don't socialize or desensitize your parrot from an early age, they tend to develop what's called fearful behavior, and they can be scared of the most random things. Now, naturally, parrots are prey animals in the wild, so they have those fight or flight response and instincts, kind of like we do. So if something that they don't like scares them or it's too out of the comfort zone, what ends up happening? They either fly away or they bite you, right? Or they bite the thing. So with Elfie, I noticed I would bring around random things. It would sometimes be like a blue pen. I would bring it around him, and randomly I would just notice he would like freak out, or his behavior would just change. His body language would be like crouched and afraid or scared or trying to really be wary of whatever I brought around. And it's been everything from like a blue pen to my Apple earbuds. I remember one time I was speaking to, I think, my mom or something with one headphone on, and I took off the other one. I so happened to pick up Elfie, and he just started flapping, and I was like, what's going on, buddy? Like, why are you flapping so much? And then I realized, not knowing, that he was scared of the white AirPod that I had in my hand, and this was what was kind of freaking him out. And really what I've done, and I wanted to share with you guys, is how to go about desensitizing your parrot to new objects that you might not want them to be scared of, right? For whatever reason, if they're scared of like a cardboard box or some random object that you have around your house or your apartment and you bring around them that's always there, and they kind of freak out or their body language changes, we want to avoid this in general, because the last thing we want is for our parrot to just take off, fly away, and then like crash into a wall or something or get injured, and further continuing the cycle of being scared of new or foreign objects or different environments, right? So I wanted to walk you guys through the steps that I take to desensitize my parrot Elfie. And one of the big concepts that I'm going to talk about is really using target training and clicker training, because we know with a treat, often a treat that they like, whether that is a pine nut, macadamia nut, walnut, whatever, right, sunflower seed that they like, we know for a fact that that treat has high value. Because, if you've been following my videos and checking out the channel, you have your bird on a proper diet, it's getting proper sleep, and it doesn't have access to seeds and just treats, right? So the value of that treat is really high if it's on a naturally, good and healthy diet. So when you do target training, when you do trick training, your parrot's going to be very receptive, timing it right, of course, that it's right around when it's lunchtime and they're hungry and they're a little bit more motivated. It's going to present high value. So the desire to get a reward or to remove fear are what drives really a lot of human beings and even parrots, right, in nature, and even for us that we're a little bit more domesticated these days, right? We go toward pleasure and we try to avoid pain, and it's the same with parrots. So the pain of being afraid of a foreign object is going to be high, but we want the value of the treat that we bring around to be higher, right? So what I do with Elfie is I started with a chopstick as a target, and make sure you have your target training down, meaning that your parrot is going to know that to touch the end of the target. If it touches it, it hears a click, and then it gets a reward, right? And that's really the basics of it, that your parrot is willing to softly touch the target that it is presented, and then the click is the affirmation that you did what I wanted, therefore a treat is coming. So I took this exact same concept and I used it to desensitize Elfie, and I'm going to show you a clip of how I go about doing that now for your reference. So let's check that out.
So here I have my target stick and my clicker, and I'm going to warm up Elfie here and just have them come over and touch the stick. He gets a reward, and then we are going to bring in the first kind of random object, which is this pen, which by his body language he doesn't seem too afraid of, so we're targeting him over to the stick just to let him know, hey, if you come by this thing, you are getting a treat, as so. And then from there, what you can see is I start to shorten the stick a little bit, or no, I'm actually just retargeting him just to see what his reaction is going to be like. And clearly he doesn't seem too bothered by this random object. And now I'm going to see if he will just come over to the Sharpie marker on his own, just waiting for him to finish his treat. Now I'm going to target him over to this Sharpie. See, he's coming on his own free will. He's exploring it a little bit. He touches it, and then he is getting a reward now. And this basically, to me, is a good sign, meaning that he's not afraid of this object, and this is what we want to see when we're desensitizing our parrot. Now I have this random doorstop thing next. Doesn't seem too bothered by it, but as you can see, we take a similar approach. Come over to touch the stick, click the target, click the clicker, give him a treat. Now I'm walking over here and repeating it just to give some variation. As you can see, I shortened the stick. By shortening the targeting stick, what is happening is naturally the parrot has to get closer to the object in this session in order for him to target and basically get a reward. So this is the approach that we're taking now, and now I'm seeing if he wants to come over and just target, and he does. So this is a good session with this object. So as you can see the progression here, it goes from targeting with the object in your hand from far away to shortening the stick, and then finally seeing if they're willing to come over and really show that he is desensitized to that object. Now I have this big spray bottle, and as you can see with the spray bottle, I've already desensitized him to it, so that's why he came right over to it and touched it. But again, with a big bottle here, what we're going to do in the future is this is going to be his shower spray bottle, and I'm just moving it around, trying different things, getting him used to me, pressing the button that releases water. There's no water in it now, but it'd be the first step. For example, if you wanted to desensitize your parrot to showers and the spray bottle as a whole, right? So you can see me doing that here. He's totally willing to walk over to it, and I'm going to show you probably in another video how I'm going to desensitize him to outside showers because he is afraid of water. But this is going to be the first step, and really this is a critical step to any type of desensitization with your parrot. Now the next object that I'm bringing over is this Apple AirPods case. The reason I chose this object was because he is actually, one day he was scared of the actual little white headphone, which threw me off, and I was like, okay, maybe we should work on that. But same approach here. I've got the targeting stick. I'm shortening it now, getting him closer to it, and it's super important to read your parrot's body language. In a little bit, I'll show you what it looks like when your parrot is afraid of an object or wants nothing to do with it. Usually their head bows down, they can fluff up or even get aggressive. So anyway, now I'm targeting him over to the case itself. He's more than willing to come over for his treat. And really what's happening here is the desire for the reward, because he's hungry, is more important than his fear of this foreign object. And now I'm going to see if he wants to come over to this AirPod, which he does. And this is the behavior you want to see when desensitizing your parrot, coming over on their own free will. If you just kind of shove it in their face, what will happen is they might take off and do a scared flight because they don't know what that object is and they're too afraid of it, and they take off. They can crash into something, you never know. So these are good signs that we're seeing here in Elfie when I'm desensitizing him. And now look at this instant change in body language when I bring over the statue. Crouch down, walk into the corner, wants nothing to do with it. So I wanted to mix it up and bring in a new object he's completely never seen and might be scary for a parrot. Same process, walking him over, clicking for his reward. And this is why target training is so awesome, because that stick means positive and the clicker affirms you did what I wanted. So that's how you build this confidence, right? Now I'm moving this thing around, and what I'm doing is I want to understand how afraid he is, because if he was really afraid of this object, he'd probably fly off screen. As you can see, I'm trying to shorten the stick here, but Elfie does not want to budge. That's close enough for him. Make sure he's really touching that tip. Give him his reward. Same concept as the other objects, right? And now I'm going to try it again and see if I can get this targeting stick a little shorter. But as you can see, he's a little hesitant. I didn't give him a reward there because he wasn't, he didn't properly touch that targeting stick tip. So I'm going to have him come back over, which you can tell he wants to, but he's a little afraid. And that's what we want to see there. That's a good bird, Elfie. That's what we want to see. Gonna do a couple more goes at it here. Trying to get it a little shorter.
Touch. Come.
One really good thing that you can do is to just reset. If your parrot is a little uncomfortable going too close to this foreign object, then that's okay. We'll take a step back. As you can see, I lengthened the stick a little bit. He's clearly not as comfortable coming that close to it yet. So what I'm doing here is I'm just walking away, letting him know you lost your opportunity to earn a reward. Reset again, and here we go. That's what I want to see. At the end of the day, it's really important not to rush it. If your parrot in the first session or even the second session is still really afraid and you can only get so far with the target training and desensitization, that's totally fine. Understand that depending on your parrot, there's no one formula. It can take days, it can take weeks sometimes, and we just want to keep repeating and recycling this process. And over time, what happens is the parrot gets desensitized to this object to where it's no longer afraid, and you build its confidence. So I think I'm going to go for one more quick session here just to end it on a positive note. See if we can get him to come over, and he does. There we go. That's what we want to see. And he gets his treat, and this is what we call a good desensitization session. No flying away, no crashing, very responsive to the training.
Awesome. Now that you've seen how I've desensitized Elfie to different objects, from an AirPod to a pen to a blue misting bottle that I'm going to start using, because Elfie is, now also at a point where, or he's always been at a point where he's scared of objects that spray water. So he's basically scared of spray bottles, right? And I want to set up my patio porch, my balcony, to basically get netted and have Elfie be in the sun so he gets more sunlight. But at the same time, I want to start giving him showers and misting him with the spray bottle without him being scared, flying away, or crashing into something, right? So this is the exact same steps that I'm going to take to desensitize Elfie to the water bottle first, so that he understands that water bottle means positive things. And then from there, transition into, spraying at a distance so that he understands that water comes out of it. But if he, relaxes and he has good body language, he gets a treat. And it's basically a ladder of continuous positive reinforcement until the parrot realizes that whatever object or whatever foreign thing you bring around them doesn't present harm. Actually, it presents a reward. That's super powerful, right? That's ultimately how we get our parrots to become less fearful and to just become more socialized. You know, obviously the benefit of something like this is you're going to be able to take your parrot to new environments. You're going to be able to take your parrot around with you, and it just being happier and improving the quality of life for your parrot and the relationship that you have with your parrot as well. And as you saw in those videos, Elfie was scared of some of those objects. Specifically the big statue thing that I had, right? He was really scared of that, but then he realized, like, oh, would I rather stay in this corner, or would I rather come get that treat? It's not that far away. The thing didn't do anything to me. Nothing happened the first time I touched the target except for me getting a reward. And you could see how over time he was getting a little bit better at just coming around that object, and him understanding, hey, this object is actually a good thing. If you come around it and you touch it, you get a reward, right? So that is what I wanted to share in this video. Thank you for sticking with me. Do not forget, if you want to see more cool videos of cute little Elfie Welfie, make sure to subscribe and to smash that like button so that you can get notified and you can see more videos and help share these videos by liking them. You know, the more you like them, the more you share them, the more people, really see these videos, and it also just helps with the mission of improving the quality of relationships that you are going to have with your parrot, with other people, that they're going to have with their parrot. And ultimately, we don't want birds to get rehomed and go through this cycle of people just being misinformed, and as a result they let go of their parrots. They end up being rehomed, and parrots tend to be one of the more rehomed of all pets, really in the United States at least. They are the third most popular pet, but the number one most rehomed, and I think it just comes from a lack of understanding, not so much that parrots are bad or you have a quote unquote bad bird, right? Parrots usually don't have problems. Parrots have people problems that reflect in their behavior, right? So something to think about. But anyway, thank you for checking out this video. Drop in the comment section what other topics you want me to cover, and you can follow Elfie and I on Instagram in the description below. Don't forget to subscribe and to like. This is Alan and Elfie signing out. Until next time, thank you guys.